I just want you to think about, many of you have been Catholics for a very long time, and I'm sure you've already heard the saying so much times of, like our life is really about offering up our lives to God, carrying our crosses, right? How many of you guys have heard this 1,000 times? How many times have I preached about, we want Easter without what? Without the cross, without suffering. And the biggest difference between the world and what God says is the world says, run away from suffering. Suffering is bad. Suffering is evil. Suffering is not good. But what does God say? I can make all things good. I can transform it. But as much as we know that, how difficult is it for us to understand? Right? Think about it. And so there's this woman who has been recently coming back to the church. I've known her now for about a year, and she really, really struggles. But she's a woman who really wants to understand. But for her, she says, Father, I just don't understand how suffering can be good. I don't blame her, though. But think about it. How is suffering good? Well, the thing is, it wasn't good. But because sin, suffering entered the world. So she has something there. And so today I was meeting with her. She was experiencing such hurt, and it was like she was being persecuted as Christ does. That's all I'll say to you. Well, that's already saying a lot, but good thing she's not here. I hope she's not here. But she was looking at me, and she said, there was a moment I felt like the Spirit was trying to help her. She looked at me, and she said, Father, is there a way that I can see this spiritually? I said, yes, of course. And she said, well, how do I do that? I said, that is what we talked about for Sunday, Pentecost. Remember when I went through some of you heard me talk about the 7 gifts of the Holy Spirit. Remember, the 7 gifts, especially the gift of knowledge, it's not just getting smarter, but it's seeing a situation with the eyes of God. For example, the gift of knowledge could be someone in your family has terrible sickness and cancer. You can't escape it, you can't explain it, it does not going away. But this gift of knowledge can say, okay, well, God can use this cancer to bring about a greater good. It's crazy. The world would be like, you're crazy, but that's what the Spirit does. It takes a situation that is unexplainable and it helps us understand it. Why do I tell you that? Because I want to walk you through the gospel. Okay, so Jesus literally tells them, I'm going to be betrayed, I'm going to die, I'm going to be persecuted, and you will all leave. He says this. And I've said this before, what does the disciples ask him right after that? Can I ask you for something, Jesus? I'm paraphrasing. We want to be number one. We want to be in your left and your right. Can you give that to us? Can you imagine? Jesus just said, I'm going to be persecuted, I'm going to die, I'm going to rise. The next thing they want to know is, can I be number one? Can you imagine? Rather than say, oh, Jesus, we don't want you to die, they're saying, can we be top? They represent literally every single human being. Jesus Christ literally says, I'm going to die, and they're worried about being the top. They want Easter. They want the blessings. But Jesus is saying, I know you want the blessings, but in order to get that, you have to understand what does it mean to drink the drink in which I drink. When Jesus says, will you indeed drink the chalice, meaning the cup of suffering? But even this gospel alone, we cannot understand it apart from the Holy Spirit. Why do I tell you that? I can guarantee that each and every one of you is facing some type of difficult trial. Nod your head if that's true. Something. Maybe it's not a big one, maybe it's not small, but maybe it's medium, whatever it is. You're facing something that is difficult, it's hard, you're stressed, and you're burdened from it. I know this because we're all human. If you're not, I want to meet you because that'd be amazing. We all are facing something. Only the Holy Spirit can bring light to what you are going through. What happens with humans is we try to do it on our own. But I hate to break it to you, we can't. Our pride and our ego wants to solve problems on our own, but it's not possible. Only the Spirit can bring light to the situation of your life. This is what it means that Pentecost happened on Sunday, and now we are living after Pentecost. Like I said yesterday, green doesn't mean ordinary, meaning like there's nothing to do now, right? I wear green because now we are walking through Jesus' life. We are walking through his ministry. We're walking through him teaching his disciples, look, I'm going to suffer, I'm going to die. If you want to be number one, I need you to die to yourself and I need you to follow me. That's pretty much what he's saying in the gospel. But they're busy fighting, wanting to be number one, not realizing that that's what that means. To follow him to the bitter end. It doesn't mean that we're not going to face joys in life, because I'm sure we've had joys. We have joys in our life. Life is good. But it's this understanding of what does it mean that we are willing to suffer for Christ in order to experience Easter Sunday.